Alright, got the KX mostly clean again here. So the first trail ride on this thing was interesting. It was a little bit hard to ride standing up. The bars were a little bit too low for my preferences. The bike flamed out a lot easier than my KLX. So we're gonna get this thing set up today before we go out on the trails. We got some bar risers to put on here from Cycle Gear. They're just the Bike Master aluminum bar risers. Probably gonna go with the smallest one first. We'll go ahead and see though. We're gonna go ahead and lower the pegs down here to the other setting on the KX. We're gonna angle the brake lever and the clutch lever down a little bit. The brake lever will help a lot, so that way when you're standing up, instead of having to try and reach up for the brake lever and accidentally twist the throttle or drag the throttle, you'll be able to roll your hand forward with the throttle closed, reach that front brake. So I'll show you guys real quick here with the KLX what I'm going for. So in terms of stance here, the bars are a little bit higher. The pegs, there's a lot more room for my knees. As you can see, my knee isn't up here, it's bent down a little bit. So my knee is a little bit more bent here. Riding higher, I'd like them to be a little bit lower so I can grip the bike better with my knees. The bars, I think I just would like them a little bit higher. So get this bar pad off here. These look like 10 millimeters here to get the bars off. Take some notes on where the bars are placed. Okay, so you can see the setup here. We have the stock clamp up top, and then we have the U-shaped piece here underneath, the small spacer, and then the hump thing on the bottom. So let's go ahead, sit on the bike, and see how it feels. As you guys can hopefully see, my arms are higher. Go ahead and lower the pegs so that way I can grip the bike better with my knees a little bit. Angle these levers down, and I think we'll be good for the trails. Alright guys, I think we got her dialed. Got the levers pointed down a bit. Got my bar risers on. Got the pegs lowered. Got my brake lever lowered. I think we're ready to hit the trails once again. That antenna on the top so his owner can control him. Alright, out on the trails. Let's go ahead and get this KX fired up. First kick! We're running the green coupler. The main thing left now is when you're standing up and you're on and off the throttle. It is a little bit choppy, so we'll see if that helps any today on the trails. Let's get into some action. Whoa, picking the front wheel up. I can say after some adjustments, the thing rides so much better. These bar risers really helped a lot. Clutch control made it so much easier, wow. Now, I'm gonna start off by saying that this bike isn't really a beginner's bike. But it's not like it's for pros either. I'm also going to say it's a dirt bike and you can get it to do anything, so we're going to be talking about if this thing makes a good woods bike, because obviously it has a couple extra things to make it work a little bit better as a woods bike. But right now we're going to do this hill climb. Take a look at my friend here and then we'll be up next. Atta kid. Alright, got stuck. Yeah, that was a bit painful to watch. So, as you guys can see, probably the main reason as to why I got stopped on the hill was because I didn't choose the right line. If I would have stayed to the right, I wouldn't have got caught in that rut, would have been able to keep my momentum, and I wouldn't have stalled. But yes, that's what happens when you ride a hill climb for the first time and are still learning the bike a bit. But we will be back to conquer that hill first try next time. Alright, got to a spot where we could stand up. Alright, so as you can see, we made it up. Wasn't pretty. I made a mistake stopping in second gear and then trying to continue on. Didn't slip the clutch enough, and then I stalled, so I got stuck there. Obviously a new hill climb for me. Now that I know the line, probably make it up first try. Alright, redemption here. Got another hill climb. So let's go. Whoa. That was a big puddle. I saw you stopped and like, there has to be a reason why I stopped. Well, that was fun. I did forget to say this is a Jeep 4x4 trail, so that's why it's a bit rutted out and a little bit rocky. Alright, here we go down the downhill part, the fun steep stuff. Certainly enjoy this being lightweight, that's for sure. Wet logs. My favorite. Alright, next trail here. So, as I said before, that first trail we did with the hill climbs, not a beginner's bike, but you don't need to be a professional, obviously, as you guys saw. I mean, I make mistakes all the time on this thing, especially while I'm learning the bike a little bit, as you guys saw. But I tell you what, I'll tell you things that this bike does do well. Of course, it's lightweight, 250 pounds, not the lightest of them all. Obviously, you have stuff like 125 two-strokes that are 200 pounds. Of course, electric start is nice. Electric start, buddy.
This is my electric start.
Alright, what you are about to see is pretty noob-like. Lost a little bit of focus here. I let the front tire go up a berm, and instead of trying to catch it and get my leg caught under there, I just decided to drop the bike. And then I picked the bike up, and the clutch lever was missing. So that'll be in another video. But now, back to the rest of the video. Alright guys, so you've probably noticed that it's gotten a little bit darker, but I'll put that in another video. Let's continue on with the topic at hand. Way better than last time. I tell you what, if you know the basic stuff about riding a motorcycle, clutch work, how to take power away from the bike, you should be fine on this bike. If you compare this video to my first trail ride on this thing, you'll see a big difference. Of course, like I said, we made those changes in the beginning of the video. Those bar risers certainly help with maneuvering the bike, angling those levers down a bit, putting the pegs down for me so I can squeeze the bike with my knees. Get a little whoops action there. Before the little incident, what I was saying, the only thing left on this bike is that it could use a little bit more lugging capability, just for when you're not paying attention. If you don't have your hand on that clutch, just make it a little bit more forgiving. But if you're on top of the clutch, then it does pretty well. So in short, the KX, yes and no, is the trail bike you've been looking for. It is lightweight, has electric start, of course has gobs of power, but if you're going to use this as a trail bike or woods bike, you need to keep in mind that clutch control on this thing is going to save your bacon. Make sure you have the bike set up properly for you. That may just seem like a no-brainer to some people. These bar risers really help for me to be able to stand up without having too much weight on the bars. I think with a few more slight adjustments and a couple mods here, I think the KX really is gonna shine here in the woods. You guys are gonna have to stay tuned for those mods. Alright, so we are gonna finish this single track here with the bike's new ergonomic setup, and it's gonna be a lot better than the first time for sure. I just can't get over how much these ergonomic mods really changed the bike. Bar risers, just can't get over it. A lot easier to grab the clutch. I'm really loving this bike. More and more I ride it. Took some patience and getting used to at first, but you hang in there, you'll get it. So one thing I do want to touch on too before we finish off the video is that, as I've been saying throughout this whole thing, you can't be lazy with the bike. So if you're looking for a casual trail rider, maybe the KX450X. Something that really you just need to focus on the throttle and the brakes, not as much clutch. That'd be great, but with this, you do need to be on top of your game. One thing I want to make clear too is that I'm not making myself out to be a pro. As you guys have seen, I've had a bunch of noob moments today. Not downshifting on the hill climb, which was pretty dumb. Obviously, I've been preaching clutch control, and that was another reason why I stalled on the hill climb. Just keeping the eyes up and making sure that I picked my line right. That would have fixed that. So alright, so made it back home here with the KX. But as I said in one of the last clips on the trails, the KX here is getting better and better each time I ride it, the more I get used to it. Of course, from the first ride, learned that clutch control is a big deal with this bike. And applying that on the second ride, if you're going up hills, coming out of corners, really helps this bike just get down and put the power down. Helps it not stall out as easily. So in short, I think the KX450X definitely makes a good trail bike. It has a couple extra goodies compared to the 450. The skid plate, the side stand, the 18-inch rear wheel, of course. Having all of those features does help it out a lot on the trails, but you do need to be on top of your game. You do need to be focused because it requires a lot more work than something like the KLX 351, 250 over here. You can't really just put along like you can on the KLX, but with these special features, it definitely does do some good to have them on the trails. It just makes it that much better for the trail rider who's going to take this out to the trails, even if you're not racing it. But like I said, you need to be on top of your game, pay attention, because as you guys can see, if you don't pay attention, it can bite you in the butt. If you're going up a hill, you let your focus down, don't choose the right line, that'll get you stuck. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Also share it to your friends and those who may enjoy it. Of course, comment down below what you want to see with the bike in the future, and also in general, what do you think about KX450X on the trails, in the woods? You think it's the right bike? You think it's the wrong bike? And lastly, if you're not subscribed, go down there, hit that subscribe button, get the bell on to keep up with all the action here. But with all that being said, join the club, and I'll see you in the next one.
I'm the motherfucker.